Madwoman by Louisa Treger, published by Bloomsbury Publishing, and this is a novel of Nellie Bly, somebody I'd never heard of, who was born in Pennsylvania and then moved in her later years to New York, and to eventually ended up on Blackwell's Island, which we now know as, I think, Roosevelt Island. And this is a very interesting story of an activist and a woman with very strong beliefs. Now, this is a ARC copy, which is an advanced reader copy, and so the actual copy you will look for when you go into a bookshop will look more like this. I very much like the idea that Louisa Treger takes a character, a woman from history, and looks a little bit into her life. In The Dragon Lady, she featured Virginia Courtauld, who is of the Courtauld Institute family, and she takes that story and really puts in front of the reader exceptional women who are maybe a little bit different, and that is certainly true of Nellie Bly. So she was born in traditional circumstances in Pennsylvania. Her father died very early and her mother remarried, and the husband she took was actually quite domestically violent, and this gave Nellie quite a lot of nightmares. She struggled to sleep, and it took its toll on her. So she already had a kind of a sense of what it would be like if her psychological abilities were somehow marred. And going very much against tradition of the day, she really wanted to become a journalist. And so she went to New York, and the story that she sold to the newspaper there was that she would behave in such a tricky way that she would be incarcerated in the women's asylum on the island, which is now Roosevelt Island and was then called Blackwell's Island. And she knew from what she had seen and read that the people who lived there, the women who lived there, were incredibly badly treated, and what she wanted to do was experience it firsthand and then record it so that she could bring about change, which, you know, is laudable. But the tension of the story is that yes, she gets herself in there, she experiences terrible things. Will she ever get out? And it certainly is a terrible place, you know, for people who had psychological problems, but also women who, you know, went against their husbands, perhaps women who'd had affairs. They were incarcerated, sent off. And that is only sort of 120, 30 years ago that was still happening. And we know there have been abuses on all kinds of fronts since then. But they're coming to the fore, and it's important that they were reported. So Nellie Bly was almost one of the first women who felt it important to really look at women's lives and the injustices that so many of them experience. It is quite grueling in some ways. It's very linear, so we start off, you know, when she was a young person, and it goes on through her experience, and then what happened in her later years. So if you're looking for something just a bit different, it's quite an easy read, it's nicely written, then Madwoman by Louisa Treger is, I think, yes, it is a little bit different, and I think it tells the story of one woman who most of us know nothing about.